Good morning all of you. In this video we will discuss another kingdom, Kingdom Protista. Kingdom Protista, in this kingdom, all unicellular eukaryotes, all unicellular eukaryotes irrespective of their nutrition, they are placed under Kingdom Protista. And the term Kingdom Protista was given by Ernest Haeckel. Kingdom Protista was created and the term Kingdom Protista was given by Ernest Haeckel. And this kingdom usually it forms a link, it forms a connecting link between Monera in one end and remaining three kingdoms like fungi, plantae and animalia in other end. And the members of Kingdom Protista also, they are the ancestors of multicellular eukaryotes. They are the ancestors of multicellular eukaryotes. Now we will discuss some general characters of Kingdom Protista. They are unicellular eukaryotes. When they are eukaryotes, true nucleus present. When true nucleus present, then their membrane bound cell organelles like chloroplast, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, all these membrane bound cell organelles are present, and majority of them are aquatic organisms. And 70S and 80S, both types of ribosomes present in eukaryotic organisms. And nutrition, photoautotrophs, some of them are mixotrophs, some of them are saprophytes, some of them are parasites. Photoautotrophs, they make their food through the process of photosynthesis. Mixotrophs, they are both autotrophs and heterotrophs. In the presence of light, they can make their own food. In the absence of light, they depend on others. Saprophytes depends on dead decaying matter. Parasites, they depend on other living organisms. And type of reproduction is of both asexual type and sexual type. And locomotion with the help of pseudopodia, flagella and cilia, where ciliary movement is faster than flagellar and pseudopodial movement. And the life cycle is shown by zygotic meiosis and gametic meiosis. Zygotic meiosis and gametic meiosis both are occurred. Zygotic meiosis means meiosis cell division occurs in zygote. Gametic meiosis means meiosis occurs in gametes. So both types of life cycle shown by members of Kingdom Protista. Then this Kingdom Protista is divided into mainly 5 classes, but all the 5 classes are grouped under 3 categories. Photosynthetic protists, second one is slime molds, and third one is protozoans. Photosynthetic protistans are there again 3 types: diatoms, dinoflagellates and euglenoids. These are the 3 types of photosynthetic protistans. Then slime molds are again acellular slime molds. Some of them are acellular and some of them are cellular slime molds. And then protozoans. But finally Kingdom Protista has 5 classes. What are the 5 classes? Diatoms, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds and protozoans. These first three are called photosynthetic protists because they make their own food through the process of photosynthesis. The first class of Kingdom Protista, that is diatoms. So diatoms are usually they are golden brown photosynthetic protists, and these golden brown photosynthetic protists are also called chrysophytes. Chrysophytes includes both diatoms and desmids. diatoms and desmids. And majority of diatoms are they are also called protystan algae or photosynthetic algae, and they are usually majority of them are phytoplanktons. So large number of phytoplanktons are there, diatoms and desmids, both of them are called chrysophytes. We will discuss some important characteristic features of diatoms. Diatoms are usually they are microscopic organisms and possess varying colors. They have different colors depending upon their photosynthetic pigments. And next, most of them are, some of them are aquatic and some of them are terrestrial. Both types of forms are present in the class diatoms, and majority of them are they are marine. They support much of marine life. Diatom supports much of marine life, and lacking of flagella. Lack of flagella is the characteristic feature of diatoms, but except vegetative phase, but it is present during reproductive phase. So during reproductive phase, flagella is present, but asexual reproduction by means of zoospores, that's why flagella is present. But except reproductive phase, in the remaining life cycle, flagella is absent. And majority of them are they are freely floated on the surface water, but remaining them are they are afloat. Some of the diatoms are they remain afloat on the surface water due to presence of lightweight lipids. And here the cell wall is saturated with silica, or cell wall is made up of silica. Then it forms a transparent siliceous wall that is known as frustule. The cell wall is saturated with silica to form a siliceous transparent wall, then it is known as frustule. Here in diatoms the cell wall has two boxes, or in diatoms the cell wall is resembles to soap box. Soap box has two parts, upper part and lower part, and the upper part of this cell wall is known as epitheca, and inner part is called hypotheca. The cell wall is characteristic by the presence of upper epitheca and lower epitheca, and it is resembles to soap box. And here the cell wall of the members of diatoms, they are encloses with a part of cytoplasm, and surrounded with a central vacuole. Means inside the cell there is a part of cytoplasm that is also called primordial utricle. If cytoplasm present towards sides, that is known as primordial utricle, and vacuole present at the center. And they are eukaryotes, it means true nucleus present. Then this true nucleus usually it is present in the central vacuole. If you observe, this is a cell of diatoms, then central vacuole present at the center, cytoplasm present towards peripheral, and this true nucleus present, it is present inside the large central vacuole. So majority of them are photosynthetic. They make their own food through the process of photosynthesis. That means for making food through the process of photosynthesis, they must require photosynthetic pigments. In diatoms, the photosynthetic pigments are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, fucoxanthin, and some of the xanthophylls also present. They are diatoxanthin and deadenoxanthin. These are some of the important photosynthetic pigments which are present in class diatoms. So due to presence of photosynthetic pigments, they make their own food. Then the extra food material stored in the form of the reserve food material in diatoms they are oils and leucosin. Oils and leucosin. Leucosin is a kind of polysaccharide. So oils and leucosin, the extra food material stored in the form of oils and leucosin. These are some important reserve food material. And asexual reproduction. So reproduction is mainly by means of asexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, the two binary fission. Binary fission is the common type of asexual reproduction in diatoms. And sexual reproduction is also present in, they found in some members, and sexual reproduction it is from isogamy to oogamy. Isogamy, similar, iso means sim, gamy means gametes, similar gametes, both male and female gametes are similar. If such gametes fuse to form zygote, then it is known as isogamy. Oogamy, both male and female gametes are dissimilar. If dissimilar gametes fuse to form zygote, then it is said to be oogamy. So all the different types of sexual reproduction present in the members of diatoms. And in asexual reproduction, some resting spores are present. They are called statospores. So statospores are also produced by some members of diatoms. Here, the one more important thing of diatoms, the cell wall is, already I told you, the cell wall is made up of silica. Then the cell wall of silica, the siliceous cell wall of even dead diatoms also, they are nearly indestructible. In the cell wall, if the cell wall is made up of silica, then it is the cell wall is very strong. Even after their death, it is not destructible. It is not destructible by any enzymes. That's why after their death, they are accumulated in the bottom of sea to form. They are piled up. All such type of diatoms, they are piled in the bottom and form a huge rock-like structure. And this huge rock-like structure is known as diatomaceous earth. This is known as diatomaceous earth. If the diatomaceous earth is mining, then it obtained a white powder, and this white powder is called diatomite, or it is also called kieselguhr. And this kieselguhr, it is helps in various industries. And the diatom, they are the good indicators of pollution. Diatoms or chrysophytes are also good indicators of pollution. And during the sexual reproduction, they produce a zygote, and this zygote is also known as oxospore. And the diatoms, generally depending upon the symmetry, diatoms are of two types. Some diatoms are called pinnate type, and some diatoms are called centric type. Depending upon the symmetry, diatoms are two types: pinnate and centric. Pinnate means it has bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry means they can divide into two equal parts by only one plane. Centric means it is radial symmetry. Radial symmetry means it can be divided into two equal arcs by any plane passing through the center. One example is navicula, and one more example is Melosira. So these are some examples of diatoms. If you observe the diagram of navicula, it is like this. This is the cell wall. The cell wall has two layers, epitheca and hypotheca. Both are connected like so box. Each plate is made up of silica. So this cell wall or this entire body is known as frustule. This body is known as frustule. So these are some of the important characteristic features of diatoms or chrysophytes. Chrysophytes means for diatoms and desmids. Diatoms means they consist large number of phytoplanktons. Phytoplanktons, they are the primary organisms or the primary producers in aquatic ecosystem. This is the first class of kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista. And second one is dinoflagellates. So dinoflagellates, usually they belongs to class Dinophyceae. And dinoflagellates, they are also aquatic. Majority of them are marine. Majority of them are marine, and very few of them present in freshwater bodies. And they have two flagella. Di means two, flagella. They have two unequal flagella. And they are dinoflagellates are, they are of different colors. Some of them are red, some of them are blue, some of them are green. They appeared in different colors depending upon photosynthetic pigments present in them. Depending upon photosynthetic pigments, they appear or they attain various colors. Some important characters are, again, they are very primitive. They are aquatic organisms. Majority of them are marine, and few are freshwater organisms. And the entire body, if you observe the diagram of one dinoflagellates like Goniolax, this is the rough diagram of Goniolax. This is the rough diagram of Goniolax. Here in these organisms, the body has a rigid structure, and this rigid structure is known as theca, or theca is also known as lorica. So this is this body. The entire body has a rigid coat, and this rigid coat is known as theca or lorica. And this theca or lorica, it has two or many articulated plates of cellulose and pectin. So due to presence of articulated plates of cellulose and pectin, the dinoflagellates are also called armored dinoflagellates. So this is the lorica, and this lorica has the plates of cellulose and pectin. Due to presence of sculptured plates of cellulose and pectin, the dinoflagellates are also called armored dinoflagellates. And this lorica or theca, the lorica or theca, it has two grooves. One groove is longitudinal groove, and the other one is transverse groove. This is longitudinal groove, and this is transverse groove. The longitudinal groove that is known as sulcus, and transverse groove that is known as annulus, or it is also called girdle. And here in dinoflagellates, the condition of flagella is heterocont. Heterocont means two different flagella. They are different in height. Two different flagella. One flagella, it is present in transverse groove, that is called transverse flagellum, and another flagella, it is present in, that is longitudinal groove, and this is longitudinal flagella. And both flagella, they arranged at right angles and produce a spinning movement. Due to spinning movement, the dinoflagellates are also called whirling whips. They produce a spinning movement. Due to spinning movement, they are also called whirling whips. Here there are eukaryotes. When eukaryotes nucleus is present, the large nucleus present, and this large nucleus is also known as mesokaryon. The large nucleus is present, that is known as mesokaryon. was discovered by Dodds. And here a non-contractile vacuole present. non-contractile vacuole present, and this non-contractile vacuole is known as pustules, and this pustule helps in osmoregulation, osmotic regulation and flotation. Osmotic regulation and flotation, floating of the organisms on the surface area, and osmotic concentrations, they are controlled by pustule. What is pustule? It is non-contractile vacuole, and their photosynthetic pigments are same: chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, then some of the xanthophylls, beta carotene, alpha carotene, beta carotene, alpha carotene. They are some of the photosynthetic pigments which are present in dinoflagellates. Or asexual reproduction is an asexual reproduction. The common asexual reproduction is binary fission. Binary fission, generally binary fission. Then life cycle. Life cycle is sometimes gametic meiosis or sometimes zygotic meiosis. Then some of the dinoflagellates, they secrete the toxic substances into the water body, into the sea water. Some of the dinoflagellates like goniolax, they secrete toxic substances into sea water, that is called saxitoxin, and saxitoxin is highly poisonous to vertebrates. They are highly toxic to vertebrates. When these vertebrates are consumed by shellfish, then they are not harm to shellfish, but if shellfish is consumed by human being, then this poisonous substance which are present in this one, they cause paralytic disease. Sometimes it may prove fatal to some of the human beings. And some of the dinoflagellates like Noctiluca, they emit light. The emission of light by some of the dinoflagellates is known as bioluminescence. It is known as bioluminescence. Due to phosphorescence, sea glows at night. And some of the dinoflagellates like say goniolax, the large number of goniolax, they grow on the surface water and they make sea water look into red color, and this phenomenon is called red tide. So these are some of the important characteristic features of dinoflagellates, which is the second class of photosynthetic protistans or kingdom Protista. Now we will discuss about another photosynthetic protista, that is euglenoids. The third class is euglenoids. The majority, they are the group of euglenoids are the group of chlorophyllous and non-chlorophyllous organisms. It is a group of chlorophyllous and non-chlorophyllous organism, and the major species Euglena. This is the major species which belongs to euglenoids, and the best example is Euglena. This is the diagram for Euglena. And this is large nucleus present in the body of euglenoids. They are thylakoids. This chloroplast present in body of the euglenoids. These are the some important reserve food material. This is the reservoir. This is the diagram of Euglena, and this part, the anterior part, usually it has anterior part. The anterior side is blunt, and posterior side is it is pointed. The anterior side is divided into three parts. Cytostome, this is the cytostome, and this is the canal, and this is the reservoir. The anterior part is divided to three parts, and it has long flagella. It has long tinsel type flagella, and this flagella is called stichonymatic flagella. This flagella is called stichonymatic flagella. Actually, there are two flagella, but one flagella is highly reduced, and only one flagella is appeared. That is the long tinsel type flagella, and this tinsel type flagella is known as stichonymatic flagella. And this stichonymatic flagella has two branches, and each branch has its own basal granules. Each branch has its own basal granules, and here the point where the two branches are united, it has a photosensitive structure, and this photosensitive structure is known as paraflagellar body. Paraflagellar body. And the true nucleus present inside the body. And the body of the euglena, it has a oblique and parallel stripes. These oblique and parallel stripes are called myonemes, and these myonemes helps in euglenoid movement. But generally the locomotory organelles are flagella, or in sometimes the euglenoid movement also present. The euglenoid movement is due to presence of oblique myonemes. They show creeping movement of expansion and contraction of myonemes. That is also known as euglenoid movement. And usually cell wall is absent. Instead, cell wall pellicle is present. So pellicle is a elastic and proteinaceous structure. In the pellicle there are oblique and parallel strips, and these parallel strips are called myonemes. And they are usually present in freshwater bodies. That too, they are present in stagnant water bodies. Next, the photosynthetic pigments are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, and carotenoids. The photosynthesis of euglena is similar to plants. The plant-like photosynthesis present in euglenoids. And in the presence of photosynthetic pigments, euglena can make their own food through the process of photosynthesis. It means in the presence of light, it is autotrophic, but in the absence of light, it depends on other. Such type of nutrition is known as mixotrophic nutrition. Mixotrophic nutrition is exhibited by euglenoids. And asexual reproduction, commonly asexual reproduction by means of binary fission. During unfavorable condition, asexual reproduction by means of formylastase or due to formation of cyst. And extra food material present. There is extra food material stored in the form of paramyelin bodies. These are the extra food material. So these are the some of the important characteristic feature of all the three classes: diatoms, dinoflagellates, and euglenoids.